I'm back in my comfort zone, my happy place where I can share my insight. Let's talk about the drivers of disruption. Let's talk about the massive trends which are challenging and changing every single industry and taking us into the next decade. Here's what's happening. We're seeing so many trends come together all at once, which is turning on the imagination machine of people worldwide. Think about what we are seeing, the arrival of sophisticated virtual reality, augmented reality technologies, the acceleration of artificial intelligence, what is happening with the Internet of Things and the industrial Internet of Things, the maturity of 3D printing, going from a science fiction-like concept to something which is very real and having a dramatic impact, the acceleration of robotic and cobotic technology, providing unseen and unplanned and massive opportunities, the sudden arrival of cryptocurrency, Web 3.0, non-fungible tokens, all these ideas which are accelerating opportunity. What is happening here is an explosion of new technologies, new platforms, new concepts, which are turning on the imagination machine of people worldwide. And this is what is at the root of so much of the disruption occurring out there. What happens as this unfolds is that essentially every single company, every single industry, every single organization is becoming a software company where software technology is defining the future. Think about what is happening with cars. Cars aren't cars anymore. Cars are becoming rolling upgradable software platforms on wheels. Think about what Tesla is doing in terms of redefining the automotive industry. It's not a car, it's a computer with a battery on wheels. In the healthcare sector, we are seeing the arrival of a lot of intelligent, connected medical device technology. And what is happening here is it's providing new pathways for patients to get involved with their health. It is accelerating the opportunity for the healthcare industry to get more involved with those patients. What is happening clearly is as medical devices come to the forefront, software defines the future of that industry. It's happening in the world of farming. We're in the world of farming going from a world in which we can only farm when the sun is up to a world of 24-hour farming, accelerated by autonomous vehicle technology, accelerated by robotics, accelerated by a lot of new science and technology devices. Software has determined the future of the agricultural industry. And what is behind a lot of this is what we call hyperconnectivity, the Internet of Things, the industrial Internet of Things. This is what's happening to vehicles. I mean, vehicles are becoming an upgradable, hyper-connected data gathering platform with wheels. It's not a car anymore. It's a new and different type of thing. And that is the defining trend occurring in every single industry. It bleeds into insurance, where if we have real-time data on driving behavior, we're no longer insuring driving behavior based upon looking back. We're insuring driving behavior based on real-time examination of your performance. What happens here is the entire global insurance industry, whether it's property and casualty or health insurance, now becomes a software-driven industry. In the world of healthcare, I was with one organization talking about medical device connectivity and their sales team and explaining it's not a widget anymore. We're not selling a widget anymore. We're selling some sort of weird, hyper-connected, intelligent, artificially intelligent thing. What happens here is every single industry changes. And what happens when an industry becomes a software industry? Well, Moore's law defines the speed of change. And Moore's law is the law that the processing power of a computer chip doubles every 18 months or less and the cost cuts in half. And that speed of change is now coming to every single industry. That speed of change is coming to define the acceleration of disruption in every single industry. And a lot of legacy industries, from banking to automotive to healthcare to retail, weren't fully prepared for this speed of change. And that's why my tagline and what my global clients have been seeking from me is what do we do to align the reality of a world in which the future belongs to those who are fast. Part of the challenge here that occurs is products become obsolete faster. Think about how quickly you replace your iPhone. You're replacing your Android device. You're replacing them every 18 months or 24 months or less because we are witnessing a massive acceleration of the technology that has evolved. And that same pace of instant obsolescence is coming to automotive, it's coming to medical devices, it's coming to retail, it's coming to insurance, it's coming to define the disruptive trends that surround us. Behind a lot of all this is that science itself is accelerating and exponentiating. I find one of the most fascinating things in our world today is the fact that we have Fitbits for cows. We have Fitbits for cows. These are little animal collar devices, and the data is read by a drone flying overhead. And I was talking to one rancher, and he said, he gets a lot better sleep at night because it used to be during calving season, he'd have to be out in the field in the cold and the wind and the muck and the rain to assist in giving delivery. He now gets a text message on his phone telling him the exact location he needs to be for an animal that is beginning to calve. What is behind a lot of the data collected in this industry, where this industry becomes a software industry, is drone technology. The challenge with drones have batteries. Batteries are heavy. Batteries delay the amount of time that a drone can be in the air. And what is happening from a science perspective is a massive acceleration of the battery science in the drone, which bleeds into the automotive industry, which comes into the energy industry, which comes into renewables. If you think about the exponentiation of science, the cost of battery technology has declined by 97% within the last 3 decades. And that's why I wrote this one blog post, a play on the movie The Graduate from the 1960s. Remember the scene where the fellow is talking to the young Dustin Hoffman? He say, I've got one word for you about the future. Plastics. I have a one word for everybody about the future. Batteries. Batteries are coming to define so many industries. And this is an example of how science is exponentiating. That's but one industry. What is occurring as all these trends come together is ideas are accelerating. What is happening is this big global idea machine is coming together, where people are discovering new ideas, new concepts, new methods of sharing, new discoveries, new inventions, new opportunities. Here's a staggering statistic to get you thinking about what is happening in terms of the acceleration of chemical science, which is coming about as a result of the global connectivity we put in place. It's estimated today there are about 19 million known chemical substances. That number is now doubling every 12 years or less. So it is estimated by the year 2030, there will be 50 million known chemical substances. But if you do the exponential math on this, it is estimated that by the year 2100, we will have 5 billion known chemical substances. We're going from 19 million to 5 billion. Well, what's the relevance of this? Here's an example of what occurs with the acceleration of ideas. It was the discovery of one single new chemical substance which permitted Apple to miniaturize the hard drive for the very first iPod. The emergence of one single new chemical substance led to the emergence of a multi-billion-dollar industry. And that's but one substance out of 5 billion. I mean, we're living in extraordinary times. What is coming with all of this is knowledge itself is absolutely exploding. Every single career, every single profession, every single industry, every single company can barely keep up with the rate of change that is occurring. A lot of this has become about because of global collaboration, global connectivity, the manner by which we can share these ideas. And here's an example. It is said before COVID, the volume of medical knowledge was doubling every 8 years. It is now doubling every 78 days. The arrival of new methodologies, new forms of diagnosis, new forms of treatment, new forms of pharmaceutical discovery, new medical device connectivity. What is occurring in the world of healthcare is but an example of what is occurring in every single industry. These are the trends driving disruptive change. What happens in this world is organizations can't do everything that needs to be done to align to a faster world. So partnership increasingly comes to dominate business models. Certainly we saw a lot of this in the retail sector, where organizations have had to rely on third-party logistics company, last-mile delivery organizations, organizations which could help them put in place a robust, reliable, scalable e-commerce site. So much of what the retail sector has had to do is they've had to rely on partners to help them to get to where they need to be going. In the context of all this, with this disruptive change, as organizations are discovering they have to reinvent their revenue on a regular basis. Here's a fascinating statistic to think about. Apple is in a situation where 60% of its revenue comes from products that didn't exist 4 years ago. That's a blistering pace of innovation. Could you be in the same rate of innovation? Increasingly, you will find yourself in this reality as these disruptive trends come to take hold. All of this is happening in the context in which attention spans are absolutely collapsing. We have no attention spans left. You're already struggling in the virtual world because you've got all these distractions around you. It is said the typical goldfish today has a longer attention span than a human. It is said when we go into a retail store, that we're scanning some 12 feet of shelf space per second. And organizations are having to learn to interact and engage and get involved with their customers in new and different ways as their attention is distracted in so many different ways. You add on to this the reality of what is occurring is a lot of connectivity is bringing out distributed technologies, distributed business models. I think one of the most exciting trends unfolding in the future is what we might call microgrid technology, where you'll have a little bit of solar in your roof, I'll have a little bit of wind, we'll have intelligent distributed technologies to create our own little energy microgrid to share that energy, challenging and disrupting the global utility energy industry. Add on to this the fact that virtualization itself is maturing. I look at kids today playing Farmville. They're not just playing Farmville. They are getting into a mindset in which they will run virtually that 24-hour farm of the not too distant future where we don't have to just farm when the sun is up. This is what is leading to business model disruption and business models being redefined and realigned in so many different ways. And what is behind so much of this is the acceleration of all digital transformation. Technology is at the heart of everything we do, every business model we have, every product we bring to market, every manner in which we operate, and every method by which we deal with the challenge, change, opportunity, and threat of the future. And that's why we need big, bold thinking to ensure that we can survive and thrive going forward into the future. I get up every morning and I put some sort of motivational or future-oriented or disruptive thinking quote out to social media. And one morning I got up and this is the thought that came to my mind. Companies that do not yet exist will build products not yet conceived, based on ideas that have not yet been generated, using materials not yet invented, with manufacturing methodologies not yet in existence. Are you ready for the reality of disruption? And are you ready for the reality of how COVID-19 and the global pandemic has made this reality even starker, even more real, and has sped up our future to an unprecedented degree? Let's consider how COVID changed everything.